Okay, let's start. I'll present my screen. Is it visible? Aditri, can you confirm?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so this is the second session of Android Study Jams, and we'll be covering the second track, that is prior programming experience track. Okay, yeah. Experience. Not necessarily be doing today is we'll be starting with the basics of Kotlin programming language. We have already covered most of it in yesterday's session. I'll just be going through a basics, just small portion of it, and then we'll move on to actually building an application. The prerequisites are not that complex. You just need to have any object-oriented programming language experience. It is not compulsory. Uh, if you do not know any OOP language like Java or C++, it is totally fine. We'll go through it together. So just a quick question for everyone. Has anyone here built an Android app before? A small one, large one, doesn't matter. Have you ever worked with Android? Just type in the chat box yes or no. Okay, so some of you have, some of you haven't. Alright, Srishti, Snail, Sakshi saying no. Aditri, Dhanashri, yes. Priyanshu, no. Okay, so this is just a session for you if you haven't built an app. So let's start with the basic. What is Kotlin? Kotlin is a modern programming language that helps developers be more productive. It was started by JetBrains in 2010 and it was made open source in 2016. So Kotlin is an open source language. This language has quickly gained attraction by developer community and in industry. And what are the benefits of Kotlin? Why should we prefer Kotlin over Java? So there are some key benefits of Kotlin. Like it is expressive and concise. It allows you to write lesser code. In Java, if the code is of 10 lines, in Kotlin you can do it in 3 or 4 lines only. Then it helps you to write a safer code. Kotlin has some features that help you minimize common programming errors, like null pointer exception. If you're familiar with it, you'd know what it is. Then it is interoperable with Java. Like if you have a total Android app made in Java and now you need to add some Kotlin into it, you can easily do that. So in an Android app, you can actually have a mixture of Java and Kotlin both. Next is it has structured concurrency. What this means is it makes background task management easier. Background task management is like if you have to access data from internet or you if you have to make some network calls. That is some complex things in an Android app. But Kotlin makes it really easier for you. Android development is Kotlin first. Now, how Kotlin is related to Android development. So, what happened was in 2017, Google announced that Kotlin would be another officially supported Android language. Java was the first one, and now they said that Kotlin is also supported officially. So, Android development would become Kotlin first. That means any new tools or libraries that would come up in market, they would be in Kotlin first, and then they'll be translated into Java or some other language. So that is why Android development is Kotlin first. Kotlin has some other major benefits, like it is both functional and object-oriented programming. For example, here you can see you can create classes and you can have instances of those. This is actually a functionality of object-oriented programming language. Yeah, if you're familiar with Java, you might be familiar with collections or Java standard library. Similarly, there is Kotlin standard library where you have lot of functionality to help you manage and manipulate collections of items easily. For example, lists and sets and maps. It is totally okay if you're not getting all of this right now because Kotlin is a new language, but it is very similar to Java. There's only a different syntactical difference. So, as yesterday's session was, in yesterday's session, we mentioned that we have two tracks here, that is new to programming and prior programming. If you do not want to do both the tracks, then you can simply go with the prior programming, and at the beginning of prior programming, let me show you. At the beginning of prior programming experience, you will see start Kotlin Koans. So Kotlin Koans is actually a set of interactive exercises on Kotlin language which will help you ramp up quickly on the language, including its syntax and some important aspects of it. So it's okay if you do not do the first track and directly go with the second one. To give you a brief tour of interface here in Kotlin Koans, let's see what's in it. Alright, my internet. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
So sorry guys, my internet was not working. Can you tell me where I left off? Priyanshu?
Yeah, actually, your page was loading. You were starting something. Your page was loading.
Uh,
You
okay,
were starting prior
like,
programming and
was I
then your
here,
page was
Kotlin
loading.
Coins?
No, after that, you went to
Okay,
prior
so I
programming.
was,
So this is done. In the official site.
this is done. Okay, just a second. Kotlin Coins, I was on Kotlin Coins then.
Yeah, this
Here?
is done. This is done. This is also done. Done. This is also done. You are on the website,
Okay.
basically.
All right.
You were explaining about the tracks.
Here.
Hmm.
Right, yeah. Okay, so what I was saying is we have two tracks. If you do not want to do the first one, you can directly start with the second one, and you'll in the second one you'll see that there is, I can't see the page. Okay, there is Kotlin Koans, and when you start Kotlin Coins will take you through the basic exercises of Kotlin. So you don't need to complete all of the first track and directly start with the second one. This is what the official website of Kotlin Coins looks like. So you can see on the left hand side you have introduction, conventions, collections. So it will take you through all the things quickly, all the things in Kotlin quickly. I think this is all about Kotlin. So let's get started with our app building, actual app building. So today we'll be building a dice roller app. Dice roller app will allow you to roll a dice when you click a button, and it will generate a random value between 1 to 6. After that, if you want to practice and go through every step of Android development, you can build About Me app, which is a simple app which will where you can showcase interesting facts about yourself, or you can customize it for your family, friend, or pet. Secondly, you can build Color My Views app. It is a more interactive application with an advanced layout. For today, we'll be only building Dice Roller app. What is required to build this app now? So first of all, you'll need Android Studio. What Android Studio is? Android Studio is actually an official tool that professional Android developers use to build Android apps. There is a lot of functionality available in Android Studio to help you build your app. Like if you have templates to help create your app, which can generate something like the screenshot which is given here. On the left hand side, you can see there is a project. We'll go through all of this when I actually open Android Studio and show you go through all whole of the process to create the application. So we don't need to know much about this right now. Secondly, Android emulator. This is actually a virtual device. If you do not have a physical Android device at home, you can install Android emulator. One of the benefits of having a emulator is that you can have any Android version and any API. Uh, yeah, you can have any Android version and you can have any phone on the device on your laptop. You do not need to have the physical device. Next one is layouts. One of the key components of an Android device, Android application, is actually layout. What layout is, it defines the structure of user interface of your application, and it is made of views and view groups. So what are views? When you open any Android application, you actually see, like for example, you have Gmail app opened. What you see is the button, create button at the bottom right corner. It is a small circle with a plus sign in it. So that is a button. Then when you open an email and it contains any image, that is image view. And text view, you already know what text view is. Any kind of text is text view. View groups. When you combine one or more view into a single layout or single frame, that is actually called a view group. Then view group is actually a class. If you're familiar with OOP, you know what a class is. And there are different subclasses like frame layout, linear layout, constraint layouts. We'll be using one more new layout in this, that is relative layout. I'll explain that when I actually create the application. Yeah, sorry. This is okay. This is you do not need to know this right now. Next, anatomy of basic application. What what are the basic components of an application? So first of all, you have an activity. Activity is how user interact with your application. Like um, what you're seeing on your mobile screen right now is it's one activity. When you click some button, then you move to some other page. That is another activity. So activity is, it takes care of creating a window to display your UI on it. Second one is resources. Resources are actually the additional files, images, strings, whatever additional resources you require for the application, that is resources. Third one is Android manifest file. What manifest file is, it describes essential information about your application, such as its name, its icon, what package is it using, then what activities are there in your applications. This is all Android manifest. When you open an Android application, when you actually click on the icon and it opens, then it actually goes to a manifest file, see that which activity I have to open now, and then it opens that one. Next one is Gradle files. Gradle files are used to automate the build processes of your application. It is more of the advanced thing of how Android actually works. So we'll not get into that. Okay. So I've already told you that you can go with the second track, start Kotlin Koans and learn all about the basics of the language. Right, let's just get started with actual creation of our application. Just confirm with me, my screen is still visible and I'm audible, right? Yeah, cool. Thanks, Tanashri. So this is the Android Studio. I was talking about the IDE which is used for creating application. Let me create a new project. If anyone has any question, please type in the chat box. Okay, so when you create a new project, you have to give some configurations to your project. Like, for example, name. Let's just name this as Dice Ruler for now. And it is going to ask you for language. You can use Java or Kotlin, but Kotlin is becoming more and more uh, useful for Android app development. So we'll use Kotlin throughout the session. Minimum SDK is the minimum Android version that your application will run on. So you can see that here API Android 4.1 is selected, that is JLibin, and it is going to run on 99.8% of devices. So almost all of the devices. This is actually quite slow because Chrome and Android Studio do not go hand in hand. While it finishes, let me know if you have any questions. Snehal, link of yesterday's website is actually in the mail that was sent. You can check it out there. Oh, thanks, Pianshu. Okay, so this our application is right now loading. That reminds me, this is your Android virtual device, Android emulator, where you can actually run all of your application, test them. You do not need to have a physical device for that. And we'll be using this for this session. When the application is totally created, you'll see on the left hand side there are some files which are auto created for us. For example, main activity. So this main activity is the first activity which will open when you click the app icon. And I talked about Android manifest there. Okay, Android manifest. As you can see here, this is the Android manifest file which was again auto-generated for us. Here, if you see this highlighted portion, this is the first activity, that is the main activity which was automatically created for us. And this activity will run every time we open the application. Then here we have Android label. This is actually name of our application. Now it says add string app name. So what this means is, in the string folder, or it is a string named app name. Let me just show you. In resources, this was the resources we talked about. There are images, there are strings, and everything that we static files that we need for the project is going to be saved in resources. So you can see here strings.xml. In strings.xml, we have a string named app name, which we named as Dice Roller. So that same app name goes to Android manifest, and it says that our app is named as Dice Roller. Next is this Android round icon. If you can see, this is where we specify the icon for our application, the one you see in the applications of your mobile. Okay, now Android activity main.xml. This is your layout file in which you will be creating the UI. So, as I said, the view groups, there are certain layouts in view groups: constraint layout, frame layout, linear layout. Constraint layout is the default one, which is useful if you want to do the drag and drop kind of thing. It is actually kind of complicated to do the drag and drop, so I usually go with uh, relative layout. What relative layout is? Okay, let's start with linear layout. What linear layout is? Um, Let me edit this and say linear layout. If you want to open Android Studio and do it with me, you can just tell me so that I'll go somewhat slower. Is anyone doing it right now? Uh, okay, Tejal says yes. So Tejal, do you have Android Studio installed? Okay, cool. I guess Shania is also doing Sharanya. Sorry for the pronunciation. Okay, so if you have created the new project, you must have seen this Android main XML file, main activity.kt file. So what? Just go through with it and do what I'm doing here right now in Android in activity main.xml. Change change this constraint layout wala tag to linear layout. Okay. Now what linear layout is? When we say that we are arranging something in linear layout, it is actually arranging something linearly, like either side by side or up and down. That is what orientation attribute of the linear layout tag is. These all things you are seeing here: context, Android layout, height, layout width. These are the constraints of these are the attributes of linear layout. There's one more attribute called orientation. So orientation, as you can see, vertical or horizontal. Now, do you want the views, that is image view, text view, in it arranged vertically or horizontally? That is what orientation actually means. So let us keep it to vertical. Okay, and now once we have linear layout vertical set, now we can arrange all the views in that layout uh, in any order, and you can see that they'll always be above or below each other. So we have a text view here. If you can see this, let me increase the font size. Okay, so this hello world thing, this is actually a text view. This is what there is a default given text view of hello world. Now we do need a text view that says roll the dice. Okay, so let's just change the hello world text to roll the dice. Okay. And leave everything else as it is. This layout width and layout height as wrap content, it means that the width and height of text view would be as big as the content that is actually in it. That means if I say it on the roll the dice ke baad, if I write hello world, then the layout width will increase, height will remain the same. So wrap contents just means the layout height and width is as big as the contents. Okay. After text view, we need a button which says roll. So let's add a button. Everything we add is actually a tag in XML. Like HTML has predefined tags, XML has XML for Android also has tags, different predefined tags. So button is one of them. Let's add a button here. Now again we are here with width and height. We can say wrap content and wrap content. There is one more option called match parent. What match parent does is sets the height or width to the parent of that view. That means button the parent of button is actually this linear layout. So if we set the width to be match parent, then it will
Anuja,
see, yeah.
actually people are facing difficulty to see it, so can you increase the font size?
Oh, okay. Um, does anyone know how to increase this font size? I don't know this.
Can you zoom out your screen? If you can.
Also, just check in the view thing.
I don't
It
know.
might have an
Wait,
option there.
where?
The view.
This new thing. This iska size increases, but I don't think code ka size is going to increase. Wait, let me use magnifier or something. Check in settings in top right corner. Okay. What are you seeing here exactly? I don't know what is happening with this magnifier. Okay, this is good, ka?
Yes, we can see. Mhm.
But
Uh,
I mean,
you have to shift it again and again then.
I don't have to shift. When I'm writing, it will magnify itself, I think. So is it okay?
Okay.
Just
Ah,
no worry. Yeah, this magnifier goes everywhere. Check in editor is there, then fonts here, ka? Sakshi, can you unmute and tell me just if it is here?
Yeah, actually, in Visual Studio it was there. I think in this also it's the same.
Oh,
In settings there is editor option, and in that there is color and font.
I see. Um, I have never done that actually. Settings, okay. Oops, what is this? Okay. Arey wah. Yeah, there is. Is this fine? Yeah, cool. Okay. We were on button, right? So XML has different tags such as button, image view, and whatever you need. If you do not even know all the tags, you can just do one thing. So you just have an opening angular bracket, and you'll see everything that is there. Even if you don't know of anything uh, that you might or might not need in an application, you can just search here. Make it more creative with this. Let's come back to button now. Okay, so this is your button. Now this button needs to have some text. This is actually just like English language. You have a button, you need to add text to it. You write text attribute. You have text attribute, just write whatever you want. You want to have role in it. So that's how it actually works. Whatever UI decoration or anything you want to do, you can do it with do it using Google actually, because there are many websites available which give you information about these tags and their attributes. For example, the official Android Studio website. For now, we are just keeping the UI simple, so no need to go there. Oh, one more thing. Now we are having this views. This is actually only UI. You cannot tell this button what to do in here only. You have to do this in main activity.kt. That is what handles all the functions for you. So for this button to be identified there, this is your main activity.
Hello. Can you tell the button thing again? How did you add it?
Okay, yeah. So see, first of all, let me just cancel this. First of all, you only had this thing. You only had text view here, linear layout and then text view, right? Now you want to add one button. Yeah, you want to add button in linear layout itself. So linear layout ends here. Before linear layouts end, you can just add a tag named button. If you need to have if you want to have a image button, you can add a tag named image button. So whatever you want there, you can add it in a tag. Views are actually added using tags, XML tags. When you write button, it will automatically give you layout height and width. You can set them to wrap content or match parent. There are two options, or you can give them actual values, 250 dp, 250 pixels, anything you want. So I'll just go with wrap content for now. Okay. Here, your button is added now. Sakshi, is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now your button needs to have some text. Just write before the tag ends, like before the button tag here ends, not this last one. You need to have an attribute in this that says text. Now, when you type text, you see there are many options: text, text size, text color, text alignment. This is for the UI decoration. Your decoration, whatever things you need in that. Change the change the size, change the color. So we'll go with text and write roll in that. Now this is your button. When you click the button, it is going to roll the dice. Now for now, we have not added any functionality to it. Functionality is going to be, we are going to add it in main activity.kotlin. This is this one. Now this is main activity where you are going to have all the functions written, what your application is doing and everything. So to link those two, this activity and this layout file and this activity Kotlin file, what you need to do is have an identification name or like some ID for both the views, text view and button view. Now this text view is your heading. Just roll the dice. It is just saying you what to do. So you just add one more attribute in this that is named as ID. When you type ID, enter, and now you cannot just directly type whatever you want, like heading. This is wrong because Android has some specific folders or specific files which have to be defined in some specific format. So for defining ID, you need to write at ID, this one, at plus ID slash, and then you can write whatever ID you want to give it. So as this is just a heading, I'll just say that this is a heading. So ID of text view is heading. This button also needs one ID because we'll have to give it some functionality. So I'm gonna give this button ID of let's say role. Okay. So when you have all the things set up, you can go to main activity and then actually write the function which will function that will be called when we click the role button. Now if you noticed, we missed here one thing. You cannot just have a heading and a button. You need to have something that tells you what number is there, like what number did we roll out, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So for that we need one more text view. Let's add one more text view here. This text view will tell you what number has been generated. So let us add a ID of, let's say, generated number, whatever. Cool. This is your third text view. Now you can see you cannot see any text view here because we haven't added any text to that right now. So it is kind of invisible. If you say here text and say something like 0, which is not possible in a dice, but let's say 0. We can say here 0. Now this one is actually really small. You cannot see it. So increase the size, change the color, whatever you want to do with it. Say size as 25 dp. dp means dependent pixel. It will change the value of this uh, text according to your phone size. So instead of using pixels, which is a fixed unit, you can use dp. And let us also change the color. Text color as did something happen? Text color as red. Let's say red. So I'll just select red over here. Okay, perfect. See, now this is red. So now you'll know what number your number has been generated by rolling the dice, and it will be shown in this text view. The text view which you are identifying as generated number. Now this is all about UI. Okay, let's move and add some real functionality to this. Before doing this, let's try running our application. So from here, you can select what device you want to run it on and run it actually. So it actually takes some time for the Gradle building and running. Since if you have any questions, please go ahead. How are you able to like, is everyone able to go on with it? Is anyone lagging behind or something? Who was doing Tejal Sharanya? Anyone? Almost there. Okay. Gradle is building. Okay. It takes time to build it. Catching up. Sharanya. Can you tell again? Snehal, which part? How to start the Gradle building? Okay. When you are done with all the coding part, then you will see here. Sorry, this run app sign will be green in your case. You can just run it, and it will open a set of devices for you to run it on. If you have physical device connected, do you have physical device connected, Snehal? Or are you using the virtual device? You are using virtual device? Okay. So, can you tell me the name of the device which you're using? Is it Pixel or Nexus? Okay, you just started it. Okay. So what? You do not need to do any Gradle building at the starting point. You just go on and write something in the layout file and Kotlin like activity file. How to import the virtual thing? Sorry, what do you mean? How to import the virtual thing? Do you mean how to create a virtual device? The virtual device. Okay, you actually need to download it. In your Android Studio page, you'll see this small menu here known as AVD Manager icon. It is last fourth. So you can just click on it and you have to actually download the virtual device. When you open this, you'll see a pretty self-explanatory menu of how to download it and which device you want to download. So if you haven't downloaded it, I'd suggest you do that first. Okay, see, you'll get this screen over here when you click this icon. I don't know if it's too small for you to see, but last fourth from in the left, from left, last fourth. So you'll see this screen over here, your virtual devices. Since you do not have any device downloaded, you won't see any of these names. Just go and click what create virtual device over here. Okay, and when you do that, you'll have plenty of available options over here. So just my suggestion, go with Pixel 2, the one which is selected over here, and keep on clicking next until it downloads. The thing is, it actually takes more data to download it. As you can say, it is about 3.6, 3.9, this kind of data. So it's is it clear? Download it first and then let me know if you cannot do it. Try to download it. Okay, let's go with move further. Now our app has built successfully, and as you can see on this device, we have everything that we had here. But when I click this button, nothing is happening. Well, obviously nothing will happen because we haven't given it any functionality yet. Let's move ahead and give it a functionality. Now, just one thing, remember that what you have to do is what you need in this is the button and this text view over here, this zero wala text view. So remember the IDs of them. The button's ID was role and text view ka ID was generated number. Now go ahead and move to your Kotlin file, main activity file. Now here we need to add those both views here. Now as we have seen in yesterday's session, that variable in Kotlin is added using var. Okay. Now the thing is there are two keywords for defining variables, that is var and val. Var and val. What var is? Val is like once you defined a variable using val, that is VAL, then you cannot change the value. It's like final in Java. And var is simple variable declaration. So let's use var. Let's give any, let's say button, or let's say role button. Role button has a data type is given by colon in Kotlin. It is a button. Is anything happening? No. It is a button, so let's say button. Data type is button here. And okay, whenever you see this kind of a thing, button is actually in red with a white underline and blue something over the top, just click alt enter and the error will go. It just have to import some of the necessary libraries which Android Studio does it for us. So whenever you see this error and underline, just click alt enter. Next up, this button is actually the view with your ID role, right? So there is a function in Android which says find view by ID. I'm sure by its name it is pretty clear of what it does. This one, find view by ID. It is going to find your view by the ID you'll now mention here. Now there are certain folders, as I mentioned, in Android Studio which saves your name of the IDs and name of the views here. That oh my god. Okay, wait, it is not responding. Okay, so in Android there is a folder named R. Okay, in Android, if you wanna define an ID in activity file, you just do r.id dot the name of or the ID which you want to import. That is role in this case. So just remember this syntax. Find view by ID, r.id dot whatever the ID are given to the view. Same we are going to do with the text view, which was actually a generated number text view something. So let's name it as generated. It was a text view. This is all syntactical. You do not need to remember the syntaxes. Once you are familiar with, once you have created some basic applications, then you'll get to you'll just by heart them eventually after practicing it. So do not worry about this syntaxes and everything right now. You just need to know that there is a function called find view by id, which is importing a view by its id into the activity file. So we have now the button and the generated text view. Now we need to add some functionality to that button. So to add functionality, we have another Android function, which is, or let's say we have another set of classes, which is on, which are called actually listeners, on click listener, on long click listener, on double click listener, that way. So what this do is, let's go with this roll button. Now we have to set a listener. What do you mean by setting a listener? We need the roll button to do something when we click it. So we are adding this on click listener. This is a predefined function. So you just write name of the button dot set on click listener. So now whenever you click something, what is going to happen is whatever we write into these curly braces. Now what we need to happen in when we click it is we need it to roll the dice for us. So let's say we roll the dice. Now again there is an error here because we do not have any function named roll dice, right? So let's create a function named roll dice. Function is created using keyword fun, which was covered in last session. So fun, roll dice, no argument, we are not going to pass any arguments, and curly braces. Now this is really easy. Like whenever you click the roll button thing, you're going to call the function roll dice, right? What roll dice will do is generate a random number between 1 to 6 and return it to generate a random number between 1 to 6. Let's keep it there for now. So let's say var random, and it will be an integer, which is going to be Kotlin is really, like I said, it gives everything in a smaller number of lines of codes. So there is a simple function, one whose syntax goes like this, and it creates a random number between 1 to 6 for you. Now we have created the random number. Now this is not enough. We need to have the number generated to be displayed in this text view, which is actually this generated text view over here, right? Now if I just try and set the generated text view, has a function called set text, text view or button or any kind of a text related view has actually a function called set text, which takes in some text that you want to be displayed on it. But now as you can see, this generated is not defined here because obviously it is not in the scope of this variable, generated variable. So we cannot call or use generated variable over here. What we need is this. If we just transfer this generated here, wait a minute. If we just transfer the generated text here, we see that the error no longer exists. Well, obviously because generated is defined in the same function as it is, we are using it, right? But now how can we give this random, how can we move this random variable and then give it to the on click listener, right? This is just as easy as any other programming language. We just return this variable to this main function over there. Sorry, it is not a main function, it's on create function. So we return this to the on create function. Now to return any variable using Kotlin language, we have colon and the return type. This is how you return it. And now we need to return it actually. So return random. Okay. So we are returning this variable random, and let us just catch it over here, like int say generated number equals to roll dice. Okay, I guess where genome time. Okay, this is how you declare a variable in Kotlin. So you have now the variable to be displayed on that red portion as genome. Okay, now we can easily set this text to be g underscore number, g underscore num. Um, sorry about that. Genome. Now genome is actually an integer and set text take a string argument. So we have to convert it into string. So dot to string is a predefined function for converting any integer or anything to string. Now this is actually all. We have generated a random number between 1 to 6 and we have set the text view as the generated number. Now let's run it. So okay, let's run it and see if anything goes wrong. I think we are on out of time. It is already 4. But this is the last step. So if you have any questions, please just keep typing them in the chat box. Gradle building takes some time because it is a long, lengthy process for Android to convert all the code into bytecodes and everything. So it is going to take some time. Okay, I think it's done. Let's now try. Okay, not done yet. It says changes were not applied. I'll have to restart. Okay. Android Studio takes up a lot of size and data also. So okay, it says install. It generated a number 3 for me. I can roll it 6. Now I know this seems very simple and everything, but the process that is going on in the background, like the creating the UI first and joining the functionality, it actually takes a lot of time for creating a more complex application. So this application that we have created here might look simple, but the things that are going on are actually more of advanced than necessary. So this is it for the application. Now if you have anything, any doubt or something, if you couldn't go through any step, you can let me know. And you can also again find this video on YouTube also. So just go through it and do it on your own.
I don't have that emulator, so what should I do?
Uh,
I've
for
written
that,
the code.
okay, you've written the code. You do one thing, you connect your physical device via USB cord.
Okay.
Okay, and go to your like start USB debugging in your phone. I think,
Okay.
and make sure that you when you connect your USB wire now, so there will be options like charging and everything, charging, transfer my files, right? So select MIDI, like MIDI from there, MIDI,
Okay.
and then it itself, the phone itself will ask you, do you want to accept incoming request from your like laptop? So just say yes, and then in Android Studio, here, can you see the screen? This available options.
Yes, yes.
So here in Android available devices, you will see the name of your own device, whatever device it is. You just click on it and run it. So make sure you turn on USB debugging. Everything else will be taken care of by Android Studio itself.
Okay, I'll try.
Yeah. If you cannot try, just drop us a mail or something.
Yes.
Okay. Um, that's it from for the hands-on session. Going on to actual, like in this 1 month or so, in you'll have to you have to create one more application on your own. It can be simple. It can be as simple as the dice roller, or it can be as complex as Instagram, which obviously is a little bit more advanced. But you can create anything you want and submit it to us by January. In January, we'll have one session where you can actually showcase, or you can actually share what you built. So I will be sending you one form today on Slack channel or on emails, where you can register yourself in teams or individually, and you can create one project. We'll be providing you with one mentor for your team, or for 2 to 3 months one mentor, like that. They'll help you throughout the session and throughout the December and first half of January, so that you'll have a like powerful Android project ready by the end of January. And then in the third session, you'll be showcasing it to us. We'll select one or two from them and send it to Google. So, any doubt about this? Can you send today's session record? Yeah, sure, Purva. It will be on YouTube. I'll share the link on Slack channel. Anything else? Yesterday's session's recording is also on YouTube. You can check it out on DSC's YouTube channel. Just you search for DSC CCW on YouTube, and the recordings are all there. Also, you have to complete the second Slack channel's link. Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll share the Slack channel link here only. Just a second. Also, mm, okay, I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, so the two tracks. You have to complete the second track, that is the prior programming experience track, uh, before 25th of January to be eligible for this program. So make sure you complete it by then, and it is extremely easy. You have to earn the badges over there, because you don't need to actually do anything there. Just solve some quizzes and you'll earn the badge. Once you have all the badge, you can share the screenshot with us, and we'll be providing you with the certificates. Just let me see the Slack channels link. I'll share it in a minute.
Hello.
Yeah.
I have enabled my debugging options on my phone,
Okay.
but it's not showing devices. I mean, in the Android Studio.
Okay. After you connected this, did it ask you for like the options I said, transfer files and charging?
Yeah.
Did
Yes,
you
yes.
put it to MIDI?
Yeah, I have done it. Uh,
Can you just share
I
your screen so that I
there
can see?
were there were three options to transfer images or videos, and third one was to transfer files. So I've clicked on the media one. I mean the images
Uh-huh.
and
No,
video.
no, not media one. You do it to transfer files.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Here, I have shared the Slack channel link. Just join the channel. and you can ask all your doubts there. If you're having any difficulty in installing Android Studio, even you can ask there. Um, yeah. If there are any other questions, please let us know, or else we are done for today. Um, okay, then I think we're done. Thank you all for joining. It was a pleasure having you all.